Hi everyone. It's about 12:30 on Thursday, and the market's been up, it's been down, it's been up, it's been down, and I'm very pleased with the fact that, as I pointed out in the last couple of days, that we're in an area where we're getting a little bit of volatility, but we're also establishing some trading ranges. And uh, in that idea, I want to show you some information on support and resistance. So here we have the Microsoft chart, and frankly, this is the daily, and it's pretty easy to see where support tends to be, usually above recent breakouts. So we have this period here in November where we were really bounded by about 142 to 145. And we continued up, and when we pulled back right into the top of that area. Um, we then broke out above these highs, came back and tested the uptrend with the breakout, and we've moved pretty well. It's been a pretty easy market to read that way. But it's much more important when trying to establish real support and resistance that you pair it with other information. These light green lines are the Bollinger Bands. And as you can see, we rarely go above them and stay above them for any period of time, and we rarely go below them and stay with them for a very long time. What I use here is a linear regression of unbalanced volume. May sound complicated, it's not. The linear regression is the distance that we usually get away. It's called two standard deviations. And those two standard deviations are about as far as any stock or commodity will get before reverting to the mean. But as you can see on this red line, this is the 75-day linear regression, which is basically a reversion to the mean. Now, as you can see in here, the entire time that this was moving solidly higher, we were slightly below, slightly above. We got a little bit further above, and we started to go sideways and pulled back down. What's important here is the fact that we now have two confirmations. We have the fact that we've moved pretty high away from the linear regression. When you see here, it's practically on top of it the entire time. At the other hand, we're also at the top Bollinger Band, expecting it to revert to the mean, which this may not look like very much, but it's a move from 167 down to 160. That's tradable. It's uncomfortable if you're long, but it didn't really break. And as you can see, as it moved down, it came right back down to the regression line. And we have this big move up. And as you can see, we had one, two, three, basically 4 out of 6 days where we were outside of the upper Bollinger Band. That's your first warning, because we're at a new all-time high and there's no way to show actual resistance. However, it's there. And when you couple that with a move back down, and then we have declining volume here as it's trying to regain the high. At the same time, we are also as far away on this chart as we have ever seen the unbalanced volume versus the regression line. We have support here where it was, establishing a new trading range and making a new high. Then we started to come down. Well, we came down on increasing volume, increasing volume, increasing volume, and again. And you see that we came right back down to that lower Bollinger Band and then rallied. Now, you again, it may not look like much, but that's moved from 163 and change in a day back to 175, practically 174, 84. And we start back down. We get back down below the Bollinger Band. We are only able to stay there one day. Now, you look at this consolidation and test and breakout, and you see where you should expect there to be some support. The more important issue is you're on the lower Bollinger Band, which is just a function of itself, and you have support. You also have the on-balance volume declining through the linear regression and actually turning negative. And the next day you have a bounce, and this is clearly tradable. This is a bounce from 152 in 3 days back to 175. The market breaks down on news. That's all well and fine. But there really isn't much in the way of support all the way down. If you want to look at a weekly, it becomes a little more evident. It came right back into this consolidation that literally lasted about 7 months. We got excessive. We got outside the Bollinger Band. We came down. Right now, we are bouncing off the lower Bollinger Band. More importantly, again, on balance volume stretched to the upside further than it's been in this entire 2 year period. But now on this decline, we are that much oversold, and I would expect this to be able to rally. I hope this is helpful.